Today we will learn about how did the Indian Constitution formed and the key features of Indian Constitution. So let us see the first part. You know about the Indian national movement as a fight against the British rule in India, right? And many people were involved in this movement also. So both men and women took part in the national movement in India, right? So most of the Indians were unhappy with the British rule in India. And do you know the reason for this? Why Indian people were unhappy with the British rule? Yes, Britishers were making their own rules and enforced those rules or laws on the Indians. So you can see many harassing laws were here in India, which was enacted or enforced by the British. Okay, so you have to remember Britishers did whatever was right from their point of view only. So they did not consider the aspirations, wishes, or the dreams of other people in India. And you can see during the beginning of the 20th century, which means during the starting of 1900s, right? The struggle for freedom became so intense. You can see the most popular Salt Satyagraha or Dandi March, then boycott movements, then non-cooperation movement, and all happened during this time, right? In the beginning of the 20th century. So, for the struggles of freedom, Indians felt a kind of extraordinary unity among them. So they felt like so they are one. Okay. So all Indians were much tired and disappointed with the authoritative rule of the British. So they means Indians had a greater aspiration or a greater desire for a free country where everyone will be treated equally. And they also will be getting an opportunity to participate in the government. So this was their wish or this was their aspiration about their future government or the future situation and the country. So here you can see the people are having certain aspirations about their country, right? So in 1934, the Indian National Congress made a demand for Constituent Assembly. But you know, it was not getting much importance that time. But later, from 1946, you can see the demand for Constituent Assembly is gaining more of momentum or more of support. Okay, so to frame laws for the entire country, India, a constitutional assembly was formed in 1946. A constituent assembly was formed in 1946. For what it was formed? To frame laws for the country India. And in this constituent assembly, there were about 300 people. So you have to remember the laws for the country was not made by any single individual or one or two persons, but by this 300 people. So there were many committees were in the Constituent Assembly itself, and one such committee was the Draft Committee or the Draft Committee of Indian Constitution. Okay, and the Draft Committee of Indian Constitution was set up in August 29, 1947. And you know, the draft committee was asked to prepare the final draft of the constitution. So who are making the constitution, or who are drafting the constitution here? This drafting committee. And in this committee, there were 7 members. Okay. And the chairman of the committee was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. You know, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is known as the father of Indian constitution, right? So the first draft of the constitution was published in February 1948. So for the next 8 months, the Constituent Assembly was discussing about this draft and all. Then after several discussions and several suggestions, a second draft of constitution was made. By whom? The second draft of constitution was made by the drafting committee in 1948. So that was in the month of October. So the second draft of the constitution was published in 1948 October. Okay. So later, after some months, the final draft was made, and that was after a lengthy meeting of about 141 days. So, like that, the final version of the constitution was came into a reality on November 26, 1949. Okay, and it was enforced on January 26, 1950. You have to uh, understand the difference. Okay, so the constitution was enforced on January 26, 1950. Okay, so now we have a constitution. In the next part, we will see the key features of Indian constitution. So we have 5 key features as federalism, then second one separation of powers, third parliamentary form of government, fourth fundamental rights, and fifth one is secularism. Now we will see each of those feature in a bit detail. Okay, so we will consider the first feature of Indian constitution, that is federalism. What is federalism? It refers to more than one level of government in the country. You know, India has a 3 level system of government as central government, then state government, and Panchayati Raj. We have already seen it was one of the aspiration of Indians to have a government but is not controlled by some people alone. Right? In our country, it is very clearly specified in the constitution about the functions of different levels of government. For that, the constitution has made 3 lists which allocate different subjects to different levels of government. So you will see union list, state list, concurrent list, and all. Okay, and apart from this, the constitution also specifies about the source of income for each level of government also. Okay, then the second key feature of Indian constitution is parliamentary form of government. So the people in India have a direct role in electing their representatives. So the people do have voting right? And the people can even contest in the elections too. Okay, so we have a parliamentary form of government here in India. Then the third feature is separation of powers. So according to constitution, there are 3 organs of government. So here also you can see a kind of division of power among different organs of the government. So which are those three organs? They are legislature, executive, and judiciary. And what is this legislature? It includes the elected representatives like MP, MLA, and all. Okay, then executive, and they are the people who implement laws and running the government, like our civil servants. Okay, then the third organ of the government is judiciary. So that is the court system in India, or the system of court in India, or the legal system in India, and it includes the lawyers, right? Then the fourth feature of Indian Constitution is the Indian Constitution guarantees us with fundamental rights. So how many fundamental rights are there? So there are six fundamental rights which are guaranteed by the Indian Constitution. And these fundamental rights are called as the conscience of the Indian Constitution. Okay, so what is known as the conscience of the Indian Constitution? So that is the fundamental rights. The fundamental rights protects the citizens from arbitrary or absolute power of the government. So what is this arbitrary power or absolute power? So that can be defined as if somebody is sticky with their own choice, like so somebody is making their own decision without considering others. Okay, so here, so government cannot take any decision, or government cannot make any choice by its own, or without considering its people. Okay, so the fifth feature of the Indian Constitution is secularism, and India is a secular country. So this we have heard, right? So what does that mean? Secularism, it means the state does not officially promote any one religion. State does not officially promote any one particular religion. So that is secularism. Okay, and if the government is promoting some religion, or any particular religion, what it will lead to? Sometimes it will lead to communalism, right? So here one of the important feature of Indian Constitution is secularism. We here in India, no any particular religion is officially promoted. Okay, so that's all for today. In the next class, are the six fundamental rights of the Indian Constitution will be discussed in detail.